Okay, welcome back to my channel. No, seriously though. But today what we're doing is my absolute favorite food in the world is spaghetti. Like, I love me some spaghetti. Like, if the key to my heart is Italian food. So if you ever think about like, I want to bring Morgan something to eat, or what should I cook Morgan? Cook me some spaghetti. And I will, and it has to taste good though, like not just some, Chef Boyardee. I want you to cook me some good spaghetti. But so today we're gonna be making spaghetti, but we're just gonna do spaghetti with a twist. So I feel like lately I have been just eating a lot of bull crap, for real. And I haven't really been eating a lot of vegetables. And I always can tell a change in my body when I don't consume a lot of vegetables. I just don't feel good. So instead of using pasta noodles, I'm gonna use spaghetti squash. So basically I want you all to feel comfortable with cooking squash. And I'm like, it's summertime, so let's do some summer spaghetti.
It's actually a winter squash, so,
so
no summer squash.
So I'm going to show you how to make some spaghetti with spaghetti squash. So let's get into it. Oh, and also my grandma, she's like, you need to show more of your face. But it's hard for me to show more of my face when I'm trying to show y'all how to make this stuff. So Granny, you just gonna have to get over it, sweetie girl. But let's go. Is this recording? Okay. So first, you need your spaghetti squash. I bought this from Publix. It looks a little different. Usually I'm used to like the pale yellow spaghetti squash, but it's spaghetti squash. It says Orangetti spaghetti squash from Florida. But it's just me. If you have a bigger family, you may want to get like maybe a bigger spaghetti squash. Maybe like 2 giant ones, or maybe 3 giant ones, depending on how big your family is. But for me, this will do just fine. You need a green pepper, you need an onion, and I just got a yellow medium onion today, and I'm gonna cut this whole thing up. And then I bought some white mushrooms, so I just took 4 of them out of there because I prefer to cut my own when I'm making certain dishes. And then I bought a garlic clove. Well, actually, the garlic clove is somewhere else, but I'm gonna use fresh garlic because I believe that spaghetti tastes the best when it's fresh. You're gonna also need, you don't have to do this, but I usually don't use canned vegetables or fruits for this matter, but fire roasted diced tomatoes. Shout out to Blue because he put me onto this. That's gonna be the key. Of course, you need your spaghetti sauces. And me, I don't care what kind of spaghetti sauce you use. Do what you want to do. But I like to mix up sauces because I feel like it gives it more flavor. So my first sauce that I'll use, and I got this from Publix, is a olive oil and garlic one. And then basil and tomato. And then also, if you want to indulge in cheese, you can get a little Parmesan cheese. I just got the Publix brand because I'm really trying to cut back on cheese. And then instead of using ground beef, which I prefer, I'm gonna use ground turkey because I want a leaner meat. I wanna just do something more light. And then of course I'm gonna season salt, pepper, and I couldn't find fresh basil in Publix, so I'll have to use dried basil for my spices. And heavy cream. Don't forget the heavy cream. So let's get okay. Now you definitely want to start with clean hands. Now spaghetti squash can be intimidating because it has a hard shell, and sometimes it's really hard to cut it in half. But a trick that I like to use that someone taught me when cooking spaghetti squash is what you want to do is use the microwave if you have a microwave. I do have a microwave. I use the microwave. I'm not afraid to use one microwave. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna microwave it and then I'm gonna roast it. So first you pierce some holes in it, and as you can see, it's kind of hard to cut, but you want to be careful. If you need a dish towel to steady it, do that. Be careful too. Okay, so as you can see, my indentations on my spaghetti squash, I have pierced it. So now I'm gonna put it in a microwave safe bowl or plate, and I'm going to microwave this for 5 to 6 minutes. And then I'm gonna cut it in half and put it on a pan, and you'll see the rest. Okay, so I forgot to mention, while we wait for our spaghetti squash to finish in the microwave, we want to have our oven preheated on 400 degrees to roast it. Okay, you know, you got to save your time and things like that. Okay, so be cautious. You might want to use some oven mitts when you cut it, because it is very hot, hot to the touch. And if you can see already, it kind of split where I stabbed it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use an oven mitt to hold it, and I'm gonna split it in half.
I thought about editing this part out, but I really wanted to show you all that it can be really difficult to cut it. And I didn't really microwave it for 5 to 6 minutes, which I should have. It would have made it softer, but I didn't want it to be too hot, and I was just being impatient. So be patient with yourself, and be careful, because you don't want to cut your hand, because it's going to be scorching hot. So I ended up having to get a spoon, so as you'll see, to pop it open.
Oops. Scoop out the seeds, which is kind of like the fun part. Some people like the seeds for like pumpkin seeds. I'm not really into that like that, so I won't be using these.
So now we're going to season our spaghetti squash with some olive oil, salt, and black pepper. I do want to caution you that if you are looking for a pasta taste, spaghetti squash is not going to give you that at all. It doesn't taste like spaghetti at all. I mean, just in short. But it does not taste bad. It actually tastes really good. I think it's delicious, and I think that anybody would like it, and I think it's also kid friendly. So basically, back to the seasoning. You just want to swirl it around and get that seasoning there, because it is a vegetable. You do need to season it a little bit with a little salt and pepper. And then we're going to put this on a pan and roast it face down for about 45 minutes until it's tender. You may need to add some more olive oil if that's your preference, but I probably should use like a little brush. Don't have that. Mine, it was really old, so I threw it away. So I'm doing the best that I can with the spoon. So there you go. So now we're going to get into our chopped seasonings. When I say chopped seasonings, I mean like your chopped vegetables, because those season your food as well. And your fungus, which is your mushroom. So I'm just going to be dicing up some bell pepper, the onion, the mushroom, and some fresh garlic. I am not a professional dicer by any means. I actually hate cutting up things. But if you are a master sous chef, kudos to you. That is not my talent or my strong suit. So But sometimes I could do the dash with the knife, you know, so you might see that a little here in the video. But here you go, chopping it up. Let's get to it. A helpful hint about mincing garlic: if you don't like peeling garlic by your hands, all you have to do is take a knife, smash it, and then the garlic peel will come right off. This is an easier way to peel the garlic, like it'll literally slip off. And also your hands won't smell like garlic, like a strong garlic odor. So that's a quick tip, and hopefully you can use it and it helps you.
So we put the turkey in.
So now I'm going to season my ground meat. I'm going to season it with some fennel seed. Then next I'm going to use some basil leaves, some dry basil. I couldn't get the fresh basil from the store, like I said before. I have some black pepper. You can never go wrong with black pepper. And then I'm also going to put a little bit of oregano in it. Sometimes oregano can be overpowering, so I don't like to use a lot. But next was garlic powder and then onion powder. I use that sparingly. And then I'm going to just sprinkle a little Italian seasoning on there, little sea salt. And that's basically it, because your sauce is also going to flavor the meat as well. And then you begin to brown your meat and let the magic begin. So as your meat begins to brown, then I like to add in my vegetables because I don't want to overcook them, and I kind of like them to flavor the meat as well. So everything you chopped up before, you're just going to put that in there, and you're going to brown all of that and caramelize those onions. Now, if I was using beef, it would be more oily and I would drain the oil, but turkey is very lean, so I don't really have that much excess liquid. So, and sometimes I like to use a little liquid or a little water to thin out my pasta sauce, so I'm going to leave that in there. Now I'm going to add in my pasta sauces. So as I said before, I had 2 jars, so I'm going to use half of both jars and mix it up. And then I'm actually going to crack open my can of Hunt's fire roasted tomatoes. Now this can is like a 14-ounce can, but you really only need 6 ounces. I couldn't find a smaller can, but I'm not going to use the whole thing. So now to finish off my pasta sauce, I'm going to sprinkle in some red pepper flakes, and then I'm going to add a tad bit of sugar because the sugar cuts the acidity for me in the tomato sauce. And so just lightly sprinkle a little bit. You don't need a lot of sugar. You don't want to have that much sugar in your spaghetti. Final step is to add like 1 tablespoon of heavy cream. Mix it up. If you are lactose intolerant, do not use cheese and do not use any heavy cream because your stomach will be toe up. So, but that's just what I like to do. This step is not necessary. You don't have to do that. It's fine just the way it is. But I'm just gonna put the top on and let this simmer and let all of those flavors and spices come together for a beautiful, beautiful symphony. So here is the sauce. It's bubbling. I let it simmer and it's about ready. So yeah, I'm about to take out the squash now and let's get busy. So now your squash is piping hot. We've just taken it out of the oven, and you want to get 2 forks in a bowl because you're going to fork it and put it in the bowl. But caution, as you can see the smoke, it is very hot. So please do not burn yourself. Be very careful. So after you have scraped the last crumb of the spaghetti squash out of those halves, then you're going to be ready to eat, basically. So it's going to be piping hot, and then we're going to plate it up. And here is the final product. I put a little Parmesan cheese on it, but here you go. Voila. Ooh, that's not cute. Voila. And voila, bon appetit!